and give you praise for what's about to come. No matter how long it takes, I'll never give up my praise. So while I wait, I'll be patiently praising you. No matter how long it takes, no matter how long, I'll never give up my praise. So while I wait, I'll be patiently praising you. Every day is a brand new day. Gotta take some time to renew my faith. Cause the pain is saying opposite of what the Bible says in the book of James. The proud faith shall save the sick. The Lord will raise them up once again. Yeah, that encourages me to praise him along the way to my breakthrough. I trust him, I'm still trusting you. I know you're gonna bring me through this trial. Cause it's gonna get hard sometimes. And when those moments come, when they come, I'm gonna rest in your heart and give you praise for what's about to come. Yeah. No matter how long it takes, give up my praise. While I wait, I'll be patiently praising you. No matter how long, I'll never give up my praise. While I wait, yeah, I'll be patiently praising you. I won't let the circumstance or the evidence stop me from raising my hands to you. As I go through, Lord, I patiently praise you. I'll never give up. While I wait, I'll be patiently praising you. Yeah. No matter.
This is where the community is connected. 980 AM WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Macon and Middle Georgia. It's time for Village Talks with Tia and LJ. Join them live every Wednesday from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. right here on the Glory 107.9 FM, 980 AM WDDO. Log on to the Glory 107.9 FM on Facebook or YouTube to become a part of the conversation. Let's go live into the studio for Village Talks with Tia and LJ.
Is your child struggling with reading, writing, learning loss, and a culturally irrelevant curriculum? Do you want your child to be outstanding at reading and writing and also take pride in their culture? Then you want Reading Revolution Online. Reading Revolution Online is a web-based reading support program. We serve scholars in grades K through 8, and through our innovative approach, we help them build reading confidence and cultural identity development, equipping them for success in school and life. They learn about Black heroes and sheroes through captioned videos, reading selections, and other activities. Reading Revolution Online is an experience for the whole family. Do it for the culture. Go to readingrevolution.org and get your membership today.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, what's happening, y'all?
How y'all doing? Hey, welcome to Village Talks. Let me say that again. Village Talks. The freshest radio show and podcast, bringing you conversations centered on community and culture from the 478 and beyond. I am your co-host, LJ Malone, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host,
Tia. Peace and blessings, good people. How y'all doing out there?
For sure. Yeah, I'm feeling good on this good Wednesday. How you feeling today, Tia?
I'm feeling great.
Feeling
blessed.
good?
Highly favored.
So
we got some good energy in the building with us today. So
great energy in the building with us today. Yeah, I had to leave the door open. Y'all probably saw somebody walking in here. I'm about to close it in a second. Yeah, we're going to get to our special guest in a minute, y'all. We have a very and leader, but he's an advocate also in the community. He's an all-around good guy. He's a real champion in making Middle Georgia. So we're very excited and privileged to have him on today. Shout out to everybody checking in with us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on the Glory app, and of course live on the radio, y'all. Because sometimes people see us on live and stuff. They don't realize we are an actual radio show. Yeah. We come on, if you're in the Macon Middle Georgia area, we're on 107.9 FM, WDDO, and also 980 AM, WDDO, the Glory. So shout out to the Glory as a whole radio station. Shout out to the apostle and the bishop and to our engineer, Tony. What's up, Tony?
Tony, we got a couple things going on the screen. So if you're watching us on Facebook Live, please, blame it on our head, not our heart. But we do want to take a second to say thank you to those in the audience right now. We have our village family, Corey Wimberly, saying good evening.
What up, Corey?
Hey, Corey, we appreciate you. I don't know if y'all been getting his cakes. I ain't got a slice of pound cake yet, but I'm hoping at some point he got enough where the village family can indulge in those pound cakes and all of the good things he got going on. And then we have Christopher Brown, good evening, and Demario Pitts. Hello, sir. How you doing?
What's
we appreciate y'all.
Is your child struggling with reading, writing, learning loss, and culturally irrelevant?
Tony.
You all right, Tony? We're going to get Tony on the microphone, too.
Y'all going to get to see the man behind the action.
Hey, shout out to our sponsors, too. If y'all recognize that commercial that was about to play again, yeah, that's our sponsor, readingrevolution.org. It's an amazing program. It helps with literacy, develop some culturally competent literacy and learning skills for our folks. So, make sure y'all get that. Even though, our kids are going back to school right now, it's about their time. If you need something to supplement and to help our kids, especially our Black kids, achieve on another level, that's an amazing program. Shout out to Dr. Chike Akua for creating that. Yes. We got a lot of people checking in with us today. We're excited to have our village family checking in with us. What up, Danny? Danny D. Danny D. Glover. What's good with you? We got Ice Cold. What's going on? Is she in the building? Okay. What's up, Ice Cold? And what's up, Miss Sade?
Hey, y'all. We appreciate y'all being here as always. Corey said he got us coming. Okay. I'm gonna be looking out for that red velvet. That's what I'm on.
For sure. What we got going on, Tia?
So today, real quick, y'all, we're gonna go over what's happening in Macon. As y'all know, we have multiple back to school giveaways happening this weekend, and throughout next weekend. But I know one for sure that'll be happening is Hope for the Heart. That'll be going on Saturday, July 26th. They'll have a free food and kids zone. That'll be at 2625 Pine Avenue from 10 to 2 p.m. So make sure y'all pull up to that back to school giveaway for the kids. Sure. And there should be some things for the families as well. We also have Keep Making Bid Beautiful, who is looking for more volunteers for their back to school walking school bus neighborhood cleanup that's going to be happening next Saturday, August 2nd. That'll be from 7 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. in Unionville. They'll be meeting at the intersection of Grayson Avenue and Mosley Avenue to help clean up several streets around Matilda Hartley Elementary School. So they're trying to get the views and the sites ready for the kids to get back to school, y'all. So if you can volunteer, please make sure you do. If you want to help beautify our community and support our youth as they head back to school, all supplies will be provided. Sign up using the QR code that's on the flyer, and I'll drop the flyer in the chat in just a moment. Or you can email volunteer@kmbbc.org. You can also call 478-330-7054 for more information. Next up, we have Georgia Can, who is hosting a special viral back-to-school parent panel this Thursday. So that's tomorrow, y'all, July 24th at 7 p.m. This event will include insights and strategies from the parent fellows across the state who are leading the way in family advocacy. I want to shout out my sister Zakia Muhammad, who was selected, yes, my village sister, who was selected as a Georgia Can parent fellow and will be repping Bibb County on the panel. So this is a virtual event, so be sure to pre-register for the Zoom link and tap in for a powerful discussion on setting our students up for success this school year. I'll also drop that link in the chat, y'all. And then finally, we have also on Thursday, River Edge hosting its In the Know mental health resources at Bibb County Law Enforcement Center. That'll be happening from 4 to 5 tomorrow. And this will be at the Okmulgee Room at the River Edge facility, 175 Emory Highway. This event is free and open to the public and features local experts who will be talking about mental health support and services available for justice-involved individuals and families. There will be refreshments, giveaways, and great community insight. So if you want to attend, RSVP at mgeiger@river-edge.org.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to Mr. Cass Hatter, too. He was our guest
last week.
Yeah, he's the CEO of River Edge. If y'all didn't get a chance to check that show out, y'all can see all of our shows. Y'all can go back and and see our shows on Facebook, on the Glories Facebook page, but also on YouTube. YouTube is the best way to check them out, y'all. So if you missed, this is episode number 12, right? So if you missed the first 11 shows, go on to YouTube and type in Village Talks with T and LJ at the Glory app. Y'all can see all our previous shows.
Absolutely, y'all. And we have one more event that we want to introduce. We actually have the gentleman here. He's going to be linking in with us, Duke Wooten. We have Duke Wooten.
Duke, where you at, man?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
All right. Peace and blessings. How you doing, brother?
I'm great.
Yeah, let us know what's happening real quick, man. What you got going on? We heard you got something major going on this Saturday.
Yeah, this is my second annual Infused Rhythm Performing Art Showcase. I do it for the community and for people that feel like they need a second chance on becoming big in life. I feel like if you gave up on your gift, don't give up on it. This is a platform for you to revisit.
For sure. And it's you dance, right? You have a dancing crew, right?
I got a dancing, hip-hop dance team here in Macon, Georgia. We go by the House of Fit Energy and All Style Dance Incorporated. This is our third year as a team, and we spread it around the United States quick.
Okay. I see you got my boy Vincent Muhammad on the fly. My guy Joseph filling the blank. He's on the fly. So yeah, you got a lot of support. Some good talent that's gonna be on there. I also heard you performing at the Super Bowl one year.
Yeah, I performed at the Super Bowl with Usher. I was on the field with the field cast. It was a surreal experience. Being the first person from Macon to do that, I was definitely in awe, and I felt like that was a blessing from God. So yeah, definitely love that.
That's what's happening, bro. And let people know where this event is gonna be happening at again, what time it starts, all that.
Okay, so the Infused Rhythm will be at the Mill Hill Community Arts Center in Macon, Georgia, and it's from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Doors open at 5:45. You can get tickets on Eventbrite right now, or you can pay at the door.
For sure, brother. Yeah. If you can, make sure you go on Facebook and leave the link, so people can, they can get to that Eventbrite link and also their flyer. And we're going to bring you back one day because we heard about this at the last minute. I don't know how, but shout out to your mom, Ms. D.
Yeah,
that's my old church member. That's my homegirl, right? So just make sure that you, let us know a little bit earlier next time so we can get you on get you a full interview. But we definitely need to check back in with you because you got a lot of good stuff going on, man. So we appreciate you, and we're asking everybody make sure y'all go support that event this Saturday at Mills Hill Art Village, right?
Yes, sir.
And he's gonna believe the stuff in the chat on Facebook, so check in with us. But we appreciate you, Duke, for coming in and letting the folks know what's going on.
Yes, absolutely. That's awesome. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff again going on in the community, y'all. So make sure you get active, get involved, get out there. And then next we have our Youth Got Something to Say segment. So y'all, we have been taking the opportunity to give our youth a voice on this Village Talks channel. We want to make sure that the youth are heard so we know what they're doing. Our special youth advocate that we have today is Ojori Harrell. He is the son of, go ahead, say his name for me.
Oh, Daoud. Daoud, hey, I don't know why. She can say everything else except your name correctly, brother. Hey, she rock with you though. She know how to say barbers on duty.
I can say it all day long. Reposting all that.
Hey, before we go into OJ, real quick, because we got to shout out our people in the chat. Shout out to Sakita Maxwell. She says good evening on radio. But she says she's on the way to church.
Awesome.
It is Bible study day.
It is Bible study.
Yes. Shout out to Ronaldo Scott, chairman of the Democratic Party, and of course Mr. Patrick Davis. He's a data machine.
Oh yes.
Shout out to our guy, Mr. Patrick.
We appreciate you. And so we're gonna get right back into it. Youth got something to say. We got Ojori waiting to link in. Ojori, you there?
I'm in here. Y'all see me?
Yeah, OJ.
How y'all doing?
We doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm ready for this. I'm a little excited.
That's good. We glad to have you here. You can tell us a little bit. I know y'all had some events happening with Barbers on Duty, and let us know what's going on with that and anything else you have going on in the community.
Okay. I'm gonna just put a little bit more information about myself. Like I said, my name is Ojari Harold. Everybody likes to call me OJ. I'm a 4th generation barber at Harold's and Sons Barbershop. We have 2 locations in the Macon, Georgia area. We have one in downtown Macon, 1115 MLK Junior Boulevard, and we have another one. I'm actually outside right now. If y'all familiar with Pine Nona, we in the Roses Plaza on Pine Nona, 3872 Pine Nona Avenue. Okay.
We got
you. Okay, for sure. You're just a little bit low. I don't know if you can get a little bit closer.
Yeah. What about now?
Yeah. We can hear you better. It's a little windy. Yeah.
It's windy out here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What about now?
Yeah, we hear you a lot better now.
Okay. Bet. Say less. So speaking in when I say that 4th generation, a lot of people don't know what I mean when I say that. So 4th generation meaning that my great granddad cut hair, who started the business, my granddad, and then my dad, and then me. So I'm the 4th.
Right.
And that's what I mean when I say 4th generation. I'm 17 years old. I'm currently in college at Central Georgia Tech, pursuing a construction management degree, associate's degree. And yeah, man, that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, man. Tell folks how old you are again, man.
I'm 17 years old. I just turned 17 in March, so I'll be 18 in a little bit. I'm 17.
Oh man, you most definitely the future, OJ. You my guy, man. I really see that you being a future. Well, you a leader right now. You ain't got to wait. You one of the ones, man. You ain't got to wait till you your 30s to start doing big things, man. You're doing big things right now. And as soon as you get the opportunity to do any and whatever, I don't care what you do, I'll be the first one to support you, brother.
Listen, I appreciate y'all bringing me on, man. I remember when we talked about it at the Juneteenth event, that you were going to call me, you're going to get me on. So when you called me Sunday, man, I was like, yes, I'm ready. Yeah. So
we're excited. The two excited, man. We were on a panel at shout out to Miss Aisha. She had a panel for Juneteenth on the MLK for the MLK movie, the documentary that she did.
Hey, that was a great documentary.
Yeah, it was an awesome documentary.
May
14. Yeah, your uncle Brandon Harris, he was in it. He's in it as well. But yeah, we had a panel discussion, and also our special guest, Pastor Paul Little. He was the moderator for that panel, and you spoke on some things, regarding redlining and some things where you spoke so well and with so much knowledge.
Appreciate it.
Really, and you're really beyond your years. That's when when they say stuff like you knowledgeable beyond what most people your age might be, or what have you. You are definitely, this young brother is definitely wise beyond his years. You broke down what redlining is and how it impacts us in Macon. It's been the most redline city in America, and how we need to be conscious of certain things, brother. So we're just happy that you are the 4th generation coming out of Harris Barbershop, man. I don't know what y'all got going on at Harris Barbershop, and y'all got some secret sauce over there, man. We need that.
Hey, thank God. Hey, that's God.
All right. So can you just briefly tell us a little bit about what y'all had going on, what y'all have going on, and then just how that's connecting with this being mental health, Black mental health awareness, how that's connecting with you, like keeping your stress levels down. I know they say a lot about our youth, but how are you able to stay focused and keep your mental and physical and everything intact?
Okay, right. So with Barbers on Duty, we're a nonprofit program. We have 4 platforms. We have the Barbering, which is the main one. We have the strategic thinking through chess. We had the athletics through boxing, and we had the entrepreneur awareness. So recently, you know, we've been giving, like you said, back to school. So we've been doing a lot of back to school events. We got a lot coming up. I think you said the Hope, the one coming up.
Hope for the Heart.
Yeah, we actually gonna be at that one. We're gonna be at that one, Pine on the right. We just recently did Sears Academy Saturday, and we went to, I think it was Fellowship Church. I'm not familiar with the church, don't quote me on that, but we did the church as well, and went out there and gave our free haircuts. So, you know, you said, you know, how it helps. I think, man, for sure, like, one, you know, it's a blessing, you know, getting out to these kids and letting them see, like I'm 17, they ain't nothing but 3-4 years younger than me. They looking at, you know, something they could be doing at this age, right? Something to look forward to. And then, you know, on the mental side, it keep me active, you know. My grandma always say, out of mind, devil playground. So, you know, I got to stay busy for sure. So, you know, it's keep me out the way, keep me busy, and, you know, putting back into the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Hey, one of these days soon, you know, we're gonna need you to come. Need you to guest host one day for us, real soon, brother. We need you to host Village Talks.
Let me know, man. We ready.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we want you to be a recurring guest, and like I said, we serious about you being an actual host on this show with us one day too, man. So we're so proud of you. We're happy that we have young brothers like yourself that are out here representing straight right from Macon, Georgia. You from Macon, right? You proud of being from Macon, Georgia?
Born and raised, yes, sir. Come on, man. You know, I heard a lot about, I'm gonna get out of Macon. We going to Atlanta now. We staying in Macon.
Yes, sir.
Right.
We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your time, taking this opportunity, and of course, we will have you back on. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, OJ.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
I appreciate you, OJ.
Peace and blessings. All right, y'all.
Yeah, that man is amazing. I'm telling you now.
He is, and I think it's just amazing that we have youth who are actually out here doing the work. I know a lot of times we talk about what the youth aren't doing, how they aren't focused. So it's always good to see and be encouraged by the youth who are actually out here making a difference and doing stuff in a positive way. So we appreciate you.
Right. And shout out to the whole Harris Barbershop. Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to his wife too, Nadia. You know, you can't got to shout both of them out. Shout out Daoud, man. You're an amazing father. You're doing amazing things with those kids, the barbers on duty, with the boxing, with the chess, you know, all the way around, man. Y'all are doing some very, very amazing things, bro. So we appreciate y'all. And they're doing something that we really need to pay attention to, too. You heard the young brother say he's a 4th generation, right? Yes. That means they got a succession plan.
Yes.
They ain't just sitting there waiting, getting to somebody get old, and, you know, they ain't got no plan for nobody else to come, you know, take the torch. You know, that young man is 17 years old. He been doing this. Like, he ain't just started. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So, you know, they training up. You know, I ain't gonna give you all the Bible verse. You know, we got Pastor Paul. You know,
we gotta bring our special guest in. He long overdue for an introduction.
Hey, I was about to say, training up a child in the way to go. When they get old, they should what?
Not depart.
Not depart from it. Yeah, it's about that time too. We need to go ahead and bring this guy on down.
Absolutely, we have this amazing, phenomenal pastor, and he does so much more than pastor. He is a community advocate. He is a leader. He just does so much. He is over Bib Mount Zion Baptist Church, y'all. He's also a moderator. He was the moderator of the event that Miss Aisha did for the what is Made for a King? For the Made for a King event. So yeah, we want to bring in our special guest today, Pastor Paul Little. Thank you so much for being here.
How you doing, brother?
Grace and peace. I'm doing great, y'all. Let me just say, Mama, I made it. I've been waiting, sitting by the phone, and when I tell you I'm grateful for this opportunity to be with you all are so impactful in terms of these critical conversations, and I want to say thank you for having me on today.
Oh, Lord, you know, you saying you made it. We feel like we made it because we got you on here.
No, it's the other way around, man. Real talk, though, the information that you all are providing is so significant to the growth and the health and transformation of our community and all communities, but specifically our community, because we know that that's where, you know, many of the disparities exist.
Absolutely.
And so real talk, man, we are transformed by the conversations and the information and even the revelation that we receive, you know, from God through people, and you all are instruments and vessels that God's using. And so I'm really grateful. I chime in, I listen to the shows. Great piece with Kimberly Carter
about
oppression being by design. Like those are things we need to hear.
Absolutely.
And then of course, giving platform to people like Ojari, who's a part of our church, Brandon and Daoud, Nadia, a part of our church. Right. These are individuals who are impacting our community in practical ways. And for you all to share the spotlight and to share the platform is absolutely amazing, man. So I feel really blessed to be on today.
Hey, man, we appreciate you. And this is what it's all about. It's about, the name of this Village Talks, right?
Yes, sir.
So it ain't just T and LJ talking, it's about our village, and we appreciate, you and I, we grew up together.
Straight right down the street.
Right.
Ran these streets together, played ball.
Yeah.
So when I introduced somebody to LJ Sunday, LJ and Tia came to the church, virtual family audience, podcast family. And I told somebody, like, this is my dog from growing up.
That's right.
So we didn't just meet each other or just start connecting, and to see your maturation and your growth. And of course, the added blessing of how God has given you a Black queen that not only stands behind you, but beside you as your equal partner is very significant and powerful too. And so we're very grateful, man. Very grateful.
Yeah, grateful, man. Well, I always knew you were going to be great, man. We always knew it. You always, and this one thing, some people, they make a switch up later on in life. They have to go, have to go to jail. They have to do all this crazy stuff when they're young. Then they get called, to preach. But you always had this special anointing and the calling on you, brother. You hung around a lot. Don't get it twisted. He was right in the mix.
Right in the mix.
He knew what's going on now. Don't get it twisted. He just never chose. He made wise decisions at a young age.
Real talk.
So it's great, man, to see you, be this tremendous leader at a young age. You kind of remind me of OJ, but in the older version.
Yeah.
A lot of times we look at our pastors always have to be, and they, senior citizens and in their 60s and 70s before they become, strong leaders in our community, man. But you're doing it right now. So
I appreciate it, bro.
So you are a true inspiration. But man, we're gonna get into this conversation. It is Black Mental Health Month.
Absolutely.
And that's why we had you to come on, man, because we're trying to touch on, how mental health, how it affects us, as far as all the different issues that we deal with in the Black community and the different ways and practical ways that we can solve some of these issues. So of course, we have to deal with our spirituality and the spiritual nature of things. So who better than you? You do a lot around that anyway. I know that you're very, we know that you're very passionate about that.
Yeah.
We want to bring you on. And Tia, you want to get the conversation started, correct?
Yes, absolutely. So just kind of to piggyback off of what LJ said, when we're connecting spirituality to what we're doing, especially when we're talking about the Black church, many people today identify as spiritual and not religious. So what we want to ask you first is, how do you define the difference between spirituality and religion, and how do you personally integrate both into your teachings and leadership?
I think that's a great question, first of all. And again, thank y'all for having me. So when we talk about spirituality in its essence, that speaks directly to our interaction and our engagement with God.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's multifaceted, that we experience God in a variety of ways, in a variety of venues and a variety of expressions. And so obviously, I'm a Christian, and most people know that about me.
Right.
So when we start thinking about spirituality, we think about how that affects the spirit, the lowercase spirit of a person, because all of us are tripart beings. We're spirit, soul, and body. Right. And so the spiritual aspect of our lives allows for us to connect with God in ways that transcend this physical existence in this world. When we think about religion, that's more of the systematic, structured part of it, right? The denominationalism, and some of that can be good and bad. We've seen some very poor examples of that over the years, especially when we start talking about white Christian nationalism and things of that nature. But when we talk about religion, that's dealing with more of the structured elements of spirituality. I think both are necessary and important and can be integrated into our teachings as long as they're not toxic in its implication.
Absolutely.
So again, when I think about religion and spirituality, I think about how God, and specifically for me, how God through Christ will help us to elevate every element of our lives, because I believe that spirituality is it's holistically transformational. It's not just the spiritual part of my life. It's mental, it's emotional, right? It's financial. It's holistic.
Absolutely.
And I think as we talk about that from this spirituality perspective, how does my relationship with God inform and impact every part of my life so that I am being a willing vessel and a model of what healthy spirituality looks like.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great answer, brother. And again, this is Black Mental Health Awareness
Yes.
Month. We want to know, two things. This is a two-part question. Why do you believe that this recognition is important in today's climate, especially, in particular for the Black community?
Absolutely.
But also, how do you think the Black church can play a more meaningful role in addressing mental health? And not necessarily just through prayer and preaching, but through practical support and advocacy.
Well, great question. I think one is significant and important because when we look at the overwhelming issues in our community, the Black community, we can trace them back to mental health and traumatic responses.
Right.
So we got to talk about people like Dr. Joy DeGruy, who has this concept of post-traumatic slave disorder to suggest that by way of epigenetics, that trauma is passed down through generations. Right. So when we look at people like Brandon and Daoud and Ojari and their family, we see a positive example of generational blessing. Right. The antithesis to that is generational trauma, right? And that's very much so real. And the way that we deal with this, and of course, I know that a part of the conversation may shift towards form and function, but we got to go back to the original source of why these issues exist in our community. Right. Black people aren't jungle animals who just fight each other and are violent, right? Miss Kimberly Carter said that it's by design. Absolutely. When you think about generational trauma, we think about our existence in this, what Maya Angelou called these yet to be United States of America. Right. We think about our history here. We think about the trauma that we've experienced down through the years. We're still dealing with the implications and the impact of generational trauma that's been unaddressed for so long. Right. So we think about crime, violence, poverty. A lot of that is integrated into our mental health responses. Most definitely. When we think about gang violence, when we think about lack of parenting skills, right? Some of these elements are definitely generational in their implication. So I think we got to deal with the root cause of it, deal with the source if we're going to be able to change the outcomes. Absolutely. And I think the Black church must play a practical role beyond preaching and teaching to get in the trenches, if you will, to help folk right where they are, to elevate their mindset first. And then as we elevate our mindsets, then we can empower people to change their own circumstances. Absolutely. Dr. Peter Gomes, a brilliant Black scholar, says that God transforms our thinking and then we transform our lives. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. So as we help people to deal with the mental and the spiritual capacity of their lives, then we can see individuals take their own ownership of their lives and come out of, generational poverty and this mentality that says that I have to pull somebody else down in order for me to be prosperous, right? It's definitely generational in terms of how trauma impacts us. And every day we turn on the news and we see all that's happening in our world, in our community, politically right now, right? We're being traumatized if we're not careful. All of the political unrest in our nation, locally, statewide, and nationally, right? It affects us. And so how we deal with that from a spirituality perspective will determine whether or not we can maintain our health in the midst of these very much so traumatic times that we're in.
Absolutely. And what you're saying, it really reminds me, because we did go to the 11 o'clock service, y'all, but I had to watch him early. I was listening to Pastor Paul virtually, and he was giving a very enlightening sermon in reference to Matthew 25. What's going on was also the link, because you're doing the summer playlist. Right. So when you're connecting with, because you spoke about white Christian nationalism and how it's really impacting what we're seeing, even with the Project 2025, kind of people who are saying, oh, Trump didn't have anything to do with it, or he and everything he has done to date since he became president has literally been from the playbook. Can you kind of talk about that connection just briefly to the people about, the white Christian nationalism, Project 2025, and how that actually just is counter to everything in Matthew 25?
Yeah, so one of the things I talk about, I didn't mention this specifically Sunday, but I talk a lot about how Project 2025 is the antithesis of Matthew 25, right? And so what's interesting is that it's literally the playbook of oppression of individuals who are definitely oppressed by design, again, to use that language from one of the previous shows with Kimberly. Right. But I think what's significant is that when we think about white, and I use the term, I'm going to say air quotes, Christian nationalism, because we can't deal with that without talking about this Eurocentric ideology and infiltration of Christianity, which we know originated in Africa. I don't know if we have time to go there, but that's
it's all right.
You know that we know that's what the Bible talks about. So this European infiltration of this white supremacy type ideology has flooded many of our denominations, white and black, by the way.
That's right.
So white Christian nationalism is not just for people who are Caucasian. It's not just the philosophy of Caucasian people. There are some black folk that oppress other black folk.
Absolutely.
With that same kind of Eurocentric mindset,
Absolutely.
right? So it's not color specific. It's more about the mindset and the twisted theological premises of these individuals who definitely try to disconnect Africa from Christianity. And you can't read your Bible and do that intelligently.
Right.
So that's, I speak about that a whole lot. And Sunday's message at 9 a.m. specifically spoke to that in terms of how we as Christians who represent the real, what I call the real brand of Christianity, must reclaim that Christian banner and not let people use that term Christian. Anybody can say that. But what do you believe based on what the scriptures actually say by way of historical context, right? By way of literary context, so forth and so on. And so that message was really designed to attack this, what I call the big brutal bill, that's really impacting a lot of people. And we must be willing to speak truth to power on behalf of the powerless, because that's our responsibility as African-American people and individuals who believe in the prophetic witness of the Black church. And so that was my approach on Sunday. It got a lot of traction, a lot of feedback. And I believe that that's one of the key elements of the Black church that defines who we are and really does help us to be more impactful in the world.
Right. And that's so powerful too, Pastor, because a lot of people don't see the connection between how people think, and their beliefs, and then with the actual violence and stuff that we see that's perpetuated every day.
Absolutely.
Right. You know what I mean? A lot of times, not a lot of times, that's really where it begins.
It really is.
The mindset, and then because these systems are created by people, and people that have a certain belief systems,
absolutely,
that turn into systems and structures,
absolutely,
that end up becoming the environment that lead to the behavior that we see every day, right? So there's something called the triangle of violence by this sociologist named Johann Galton, and he came up with this diagram. It's a context analysis tool for violence, right? And it talks about how you have cultural violence, you have structural violence, and then you have direct violence.
Yes. And
it talks about how those, the cultural violence and the structural violence are the invisible aspects of violence. In a direct violence, that's the violence we see every day when people are, shooting their guns, or they hurting people or harming, putting their hands on people. But it begins, in the mindset, and a lot of times we're seeing today where people are using God, as an excuse or to justify why they should be able to harm folks. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So right now, more than ever, a lot of our people don't necessarily pay as much attention. We know you definitely stay, knowledgeable. You stay up on what's happening in the Bible and in the world, to be able to relay messages that then, of course, that's why you have so many young folks and people that really, resonate with your message, because you make it all make sense for what we're dealing with right now, man. And, and it's important that we understand these things, because even in politics, people emerge in politics and spirituality, but it's not in a way that's moral and just in the way that the Bible was intended for it to be. So
it's harmful and it's destructive to people's well-being.
It is.
But I think we can't go by, blow by what you just said. All of the outcomes that we see, they are originated in a mindset and a belief system, or systems that shape that behavior that leads to the systems and the environment that we're in. Right. And I think that's a very critical point that you just made.
Hey man, you bring it out all the time. We appreciate you, brother.
Likewise.
Yeah. Tia?
Well, I was still kind of caught up in the moment, but I think that, like, when we're talking about all of these things, spirituality, religion, how it's connecting to the trauma that our people go through and face on a regular basis. One question that I wanted to ask, but when I went to your church, I kind of saw a different, just the difference in the men that are active in the church, the youth that are active in the church.
Absolutely.
He had a phenomenal young lady, and I'm sorry, I don't know her name. I do recall she was at the Poetry Slam, the social justice.
Savannah Bussey.
Savannah
her mom
Bussey.
is on. Her mom just commented a minute ago.
Oh wow, yes, your daughter is phenomenal. We need her information
Yes,
because
we
we
want
want
her
her
on.
on the show.
Yeah, I'll make sure we look that up.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
look that up for you.
But the youth, the men, they are actively engaged, and it's true to what LJ is saying about the way you deliver a message in a way that resonates with the people. But we see a lot where Black men and younger generations don't engage with the church.
Yeah.
So what do you think is contributed to that trend? And without compromising its spiritual foundation, how can the church evolve to better meet the emotional, cultural, and social needs of Black men and youth?
I think that's a phenomenal and necessary question. It takes intentionality. You all saw it for yourself. We are heavily populated with Black men in our church, which is rare for a lot of predominantly African American churches in a culture where a lot of Black churches are dying for a lot of different reasons, right? And we're also heavily populated with young people. It's an intentional design where we shape a vision for people to be able to come to our church and to be, in the words of Dr. Jeremiah Wright, unashamedly Black and unapologetically Christian.
That's right.
We don't see a contradiction between the two. We are African American Christians.
That's right.
I saw a gentleman on here that mentioned a moment ago. He says, "What exactly is the Black church?"
Right.
When we use the term the Black church, the reason we have to use the Black church was because we weren't allowed to worship with other individuals of other races.
Absolutely.
So we're not saying Black church to be superior to anyone, but as a distinction to say we had to form our own churches and our own institutions at
Absolutely.
HBCUs. Why? Because we weren't able to integrate with individuals of other colors.
Absolutely.
So when we think about that, when I tell people, when we talk about stuff like this, I say, I'm not telling Black folks that you're better than anyone.
Right.
I'm just telling you, you're not beneath anyone either.
Absolutely. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So I wanted to address that piece because we believe that we need to create an environment where Black men specifically can come to the church and not be in, and I'm just going to say this, it may be a little bit somewhat controversial, but not be in a church environment that's heavily feminized.
That's right. That's
Right? You can be a strong, masculine Black man and worship God and serve God in a healthy church context. And our church has put a lot of emphasis on that specifically. And then secondly, to the other part of the question, we believe that the greatest investment that we leave in this world is what we do for our young people. So our church is unashamedly heavily invested into youth and young adult culture. As a matter of fact, it's one of the core values of our church.
Right.
And so we have young leaders at the table that help to make decisions for the strategy and the mission of our church. We're engaged on social media. We're engaged in political spaces. We're engaged in entrepreneurship, right? And so that's a real expression of what I believe is a healthy Black congregation.
Absolutely.
And so I think we need to look at those gaps and those missing pieces that a lot of churches overlook, and let's ensure that we're making strong efforts that prioritize Black men and specifically children and young people in our church spaces.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that too, brother. Like how you're able to merge, our culture, and our spirituality. Right. And, that's a big deal to a lot of people right now. For some reason, we seem to miss that, I hear that so much now with Black, our people, and the church, but no, it's about, the spirit, our culture really have nothing to do with that, or our, who we are, this and that. But that is so, like, if that was the case, they would have never gave us a white Jesus.
Exactly right. Well, the other part of this too, when we think about it, is when we get to heaven, those of us who, in my estimation of what I believe heaven to be based on the word of God,
right?
Revelation chapter 7 around verse 9 says that every nation, every tongue, and every tribe will be represented. Well, how do we know that if we don't see color?
Yeah, who are we?
Right?
Yeah. That's what the young lady said at church. She said, but nobody ever diagnosed me with being
me. Right. So me coming to Christ doesn't take away my cultural significance, because all of us, Black, white, indigenous individuals, European, the Bible says we were all made in God's image and after God's likeness. So specifically, God created diversity for a reason.
Absolutely.
So I should be able to look at you, see your color, and still see value in you.
That's right.
So me being a Christian doesn't take away from my cultural experience, right? And I don't think that, the word of God challenges me to do so, which we see Jesus in many contexts that we know that he was Hebrew. because the Bible tells us that.
Right.
So I think we got to make sure that we're not being unintelligent in our understanding of what it means to be a believer, and still have a cultural expression that is healthy and not toxic, if you will.
Absolutely. Yeah, because loving yourself doesn't mean you have to hate anyone else.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and you can see the beauty in all people, no matter what their culture or background is.
And that even goes back to what Pastor Paul said a little bit earlier, with us being spirit, soul, and body.
Yeah.
When you're talking about those three things, two other things are not visual. It's not something you can physically see.
That's
so
good.
when
That's
you're
good.
actually seeing people for who they are, it goes beyond these physical forms that we have.
That's rich. Yeah.
So,
That's right. Can I chime in on that?
Absolutely.
I think that what you just stated, Tia, is very significant to how we value individuals, right?
Yes.
Now let me shift one element of this. When I say I'm putting a specific emphasis when it comes to issues that impact Black people, that's because the data and the story of America says that we have been disproportionately discriminated upon. That's not my opinion.
Right.
Okay.
It's fact.
We got the data and the storyline to be able to affirm and confirm that. So us putting emphasis on elevating African American communities doesn't mean that we want to do so at the expense of everybody else.
Right.
We're just saying we want to come up just like everybody else has been given the opportunity to come up too, right? And so, like you said, also loving me doesn't mean that I hate you. I just want to put us in a position where we can thrive and have generational blessings and have more stories of fourth generational businesses in the Black community the same way they exist in other communities. So that's why we have to sometimes put more emphasis on our communities, because we are feeling the brunt of post-traumatic slave disorder, once again, to quote Dr. Joy DeGruy and so many other philosophers and scholars who've shown us by way of data that we are being impacted more than any other nationality in this world when it comes to social, economic, and even in some cases spiritual development.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that you all both brought up that particular part of it too.
Yeah, brother. No, we appreciate you for having this conversation, man, and even having the wisdom and the courage, to be able to have these types of conversations. And you spoke on something, even when we went to church this Sunday, you spoke on something that's very prevalent to this conversation. Shout out to Brother Chuck too, because he was talking about the healing code and talking about identity and how the Association of Black Psychology looks at identity and understanding how that affects our mental health.
Yes, sir.
But in relation to purpose, you were preaching on divine purpose and us having a divine assignment. I mean, and that's powerful. Like when everyone can recognize that they already have an assignment, like that lives within them, that they have within them, and all they have to do is attach themselves to that, right?
Absolutely.
And you're not necessarily having to find yourself, outside of you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
God already gave you something
Absolutely.
inside of yourself.
Absolutely.
Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think that's important because everything and everybody that God created with purpose in mind.
Absolutely.
Right? Every single thing and every single person. And so when we start talking about our unique purpose, our form and function, it is that God has placed us in this world to be a reflection of God and to be representatives of God.
Yes.
Right. We were made in the image and likeness of God. So we represent God and we reflect God in the earth. How I see my brother and my sister ought to be teased out through the lens of how I see myself. If I believe that I'm created in God's image and after God's likeness, and I must believe that about you,
Absolutely.
that informs how I treat you.
Absolutely.
Right. And how I speak to you and how I engage you. Right.
That's right.
And I have to honor the divinity that's within you, because you were created in the image and likeness of the same God who created me.
That's
regardless
right.
of your color, your sexuality, your political affiliations, right?
Right.
I must be willing to grow to a place where I understand that everybody and everything has value that God created. And so Sunday's message, specifically using Nehemiah, is focusing on how we can tap into the purpose that God has for us on this earth and not see life so much as to how my blessing and my prosperity is the central focus of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
At the end of the day, what did I do to leave a mark and to impact other people and not just live this life to make money or buy cars and stuff that fed my own self gratification? You know what I mean? So that was the approach from Sunday's message.
Yeah, and that's real good. And it reminds me, y'all, of one of my favorite African philosophies, which is Ubuntu, which means I am because we are.
Yeah.
And so when we're talking about this individualistic versus this collective or
Yeah.
communal
Yeah.
approach to everything.
Yes.
We see that even with the Ubuntu and what you're referring to with our divine purpose, it's not about us. It's how can we be a blessing to others with the gifts and the knowledge and the wisdom that God gave us. So
Absolutely.
it's never only about us. And when we start thinking that it is, and okay, I got to show off with my cars and my clothes and my things like that, now we're going into this egotistical type of mindset, and now we're no longer walking truly in the purpose that God gave us, because we're not thinking about or considering, you know, our impact on the people around us and how we engage with those. So like when OJ was saying, you know, I'm here for my community. You know, at the end of the day, this young man is 17 years old, and he already understands that it's not just about him. It's about how can I truly make a difference and impact the people that are around me. Because if I'm talking about building generational wealth and legacy and things like that, I need to be concerned with the condition of the people who are most in close proximity to me.
I think that's powerful. I'm not sure if you all are familiar, since we're talking about Black and Indigenous people of color and Color Mental Health Month. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with Dr. Rita Walker.
We're reading the book. My book club. We reading the book.
So the Unapologetic Guide to Black Mental Health.
Most definitely.
There's an element. I don't want to spoil the book for you, but there's an element of it that says, in her estimation, when we look at history and culture, specifically in Black history and Black culture, that healing is communal and not individual.
Yes,
that's right.
She says we heal and we grow and we're transformed in a culture, in a network, in an ecosystem, if you will, of like-minded individuals who are on the same path towards healing, growth, and transformation.
Right.
Absolutely.
Individualized Western thinking is a part of the American capital system.
Right.
That's right.
That's absolutely
so we want to fight against that, right? I told our church a few years ago that we got to remember that America is not necessarily just a country. America is a corporation.
Yes.
Right. And it's about money, and it's about stuff, and it's about greed and debt. And we can't get sucked into that element, right? That's why the Bible says, don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of our minds.
Absolutely.
Right? And so we have to be very careful of not getting sucked into the materialism and the Western thinking of, if I'm blessed and I'm prosperous, then the hell with what you got going on.
That's right.
That's a poor way to think, because healing,
is.
growth, and prosperity is communal and not individualized.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and having that holistic concept of identity and knowing who we are, right?
Yeah.
And having all those different parts and recognizing that who we truly are is an inside out thing and not an outside in. Like, that's fundamental to even understanding that whole, or getting away from that materialism.
Absolutely.
Or it's idol, what it's called idol worship.
Idol worship.
You know what I mean? Because we always are looking at the value of things from an outside in perspective. Like, you know, and like one of the greatest concepts, how you posting on Facebook today, the greatest ideas of what true happiness is, I've heard from my brother, Dr. Ron F. Man. We talked about true happiness is contentment, right? Like, well, you said it yourself. You're not really caught up in the blessings, so-called, that you get from, you know, how much money you have or these things, these achievements. And it's not necessarily a good or bad thing that really drives you. You know, you're supposed to be centered in who you are from the inside out and in your purpose, right? And even when you're having issues, when we have problems, we're supposed to still be able to see the blessing in them, which is one of the hardest things to do.
It's very hard,
you know,
but it's necessary, right?
For sure, for sure.
Which speaks to Romans 8:28, and we know all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord, who are called according to His purpose, right? So me having a more holistic view of problems and pain and personal trauma,
right?
How can God use that and shape that into being a part of the ministry that God has given me to bless somebody else?
Most definitely.
So I think that's how we have to approach it and interpret our pain in a way that is healthy, so that somebody else can benefit benefit from what we've gone through. You know what I mean? As we share our testimony and be a blessing to other people as well.
Yes,
that's right. That's right. Well, and we've been talking about this form and function thing, right? We want to breeze by that real quick, because some folks are like, "What are you talking about this form and function stuff?" You and I had this conversation sometimes about that. You know, and understanding, that's fundamental to like science and just pretty much anything when you understand that form follows function. Right. So and in this world, a lot of times, people get caught up in thinking that their function is their form, or how things look or what have you, and not understanding that how things, like, for instance, there are also things that are designed for a particular purpose. So it's just like if you want to put a nail, in the wall, you don't want to get a sheet of paper to do it. You know what I mean? You want a hammer.
You want
Right.
to have it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the form that leads to the function.
You know, so it's just the same thing, you know, like how a building is designed. You know, you want to be able to be comfortable, suitable for people to be able to live, or a chair, you know, for them to sit down. You know, so all those types of things are important. So, you know, what we're speaking to now, it really answers a lot of the questions, I feel like, in relation to mental health, because one of the things that really drives depression, you know, we hear a lot of people that are depressed, or which leads, you know, to people, you know, having these other different disorders, you know, that come from, you know, being depressed so long, or, you know, going through these different cycles over and over again without feeling like they can get through or solve their problem, right? But if you see yourself as being a part of a collective, if you see yourself as being like spirit, or I have a purpose, or as sometimes, you know, they say in the church, I'm part of the body of Christ. You know what I mean? So sometimes the foot might have to, you know, go through a little pain or something, just so, you know, the rest of the body can get to where it needs to go.
Now you sound like the pastor.
Hey man, look at him, man.
Hey.
I grew up with you, man. I listen to you too, man.
Bro, that's real though.
You know what I mean? But you know, but we have to separate ourselves a lot of times from the problems and just see ourselves working in the solution. You know what I mean?
So to your point, think about one of the first things that people do is documented that one of the signs, I should say, not what people do, one of the signs of depression. I want you to think about what you just said, form and function, is withdrawals and isolation. People withdraw and isolate themselves.
Right. That communal
They miss the
aspect is
communal
gone.
element, which means they miss the possibility for healing.
Absolutely.
Right. It is proven that people who have high spirituality and high social engagement live longer and healthier lives. That's scientifically proven. Versus people who are secluded, isolated, withdraw from everybody else. We were designed for relationships, right? One relationship with God and relationship with other people.
Right.
And so that's the form and function process. When we think about, hey, I'm not here to be insulated and isolated of myself and never engage with people. And when we talk about mental health, one of the first things that we do when depression shows up, or sometimes if anxiety shows up, is we push back from other people. And that's when I believe we get into a danger zone of issues becoming illnesses. And if we're not careful, those illnesses can become a part of our identity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that, when we're talking about engaging with community and communal healing, if you can answer for us, how does your wife, Natalie, support your spiritual practices and mental health journey?
Listen, I can't do it without her. 17 years of marriage.
Awesome.
Congratulations, man.
Praise God, June the 14th. And it's a healthy expression of God's love for me to be married to a woman who literally ministers to my soul in a way that is healthy and life-giving for me, because I pour out to so many people.
Absolutely.
But as I'm pouring out to so many other people, who's pouring into me?
Right.
She's that primary one that God uses to do that. My wife is also a mental health counselor, by the way.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so, and she's in school right now for traumatology. She's getting her doctorate. She's pursuing a doctorate in traumatology. She works right across the street at Miller Magnet School. She left Houston County and she said, I want to work in my community to help our kids as it relates to mental health. So she left her job about 4 years ago, and you know her job in Houston County, which was mostly mixed environment. Nothing wrong with that. Right. But she wanted to be in her community specifically, is what she said. And she has given her life to that. She loves it. She's passionate about it. And so we grow together and we minister to one another. It's very much so symbiotic in terms of how we relate to one another. Right. And when I see home life and married life, I think about it as my place of peace and my sanctuary.
That's awesome.
Because I can decompress and disconnect from everything else in the world when I go home, and we can pray together and have discussions about scripture together, right? And be together. We've traveled a lot this whole summer, just laughing and joking. Went to Disney World together for the first time, right? Not missing out on those social elements of relationships that bring life and help us to have recreation, right? Which is recreation, right? So it's been important for us to maintain our relationship with Christ and our relationship with one another. And it's been healthy for me personally.
Yeah, man. It's healthy for me too. It's healthy for me
absolutely.
For someone on the outside looking in,
Yeah.
seeing such a beautiful couple,
Praise God.
and seeing y'all, walk and be a pure, just a prime example of black love, man. You and your wife, seriously, man, y'all are shining brightly.
Praise
Y'all
that means a lot, bro. Seriously.
Yeah, it means a lot to us. So, me and Tia, we looking at y'all.
Yeah.
We trying to, we see the model, we see the blueprint. You know what I'm saying?
I love
Right.
it. I love
Yeah.
it.
So, so we love it too, brother. And one of the reasons why we brought you on here too, because we got like 3.5 minutes left.
Okay.
Want you to talk about what you have going on to be at Mount Zion. We know that you've had some events or some workshops around mental health. What do you have coming up around mental health, but just in general at the church?
Absolutely. So this past May, National Mental Health Awareness Month, we did a whole preaching series on mental health. We did some panel discussions. Cass Hatcher, who was one of the guests, is a member of active member of Build Mount
Yeah, he
Zion.
said that.
Yeah, and he shares a wealth of information for us with our people to be able to get some resources. Our church also has a mental health ministry that has really helped to shape healing and transformation in the lives of our people.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, licensed professionals. Years ago, when we had the situation with the Death Valley shooting,
Right.
some of you may remember that, our counselors provided free mental health services to individuals affected and traumatized by that event.
Right.
We've done that for individuals when it came to the Crystal Lake situation.
Right,
as well.
right.
We not
Shout out
only-
to Miss Shanita.
Elder Shanita helped to lead that cause, so not only providing financial resources, which we did, but also mental health resources.
Right.
Because as you stated earlier, it starts in the mind.
Absolutely.
Right. And so we throughout the year we have a series of initiatives and events centered around mental health. Now, coming up in August, we're going to be focusing on economic empowerment for our community.
Okay.
And then, of course, that's going to intersect with mental health because much of the distress that people have right now is about finances, right?
Most definitely.
So we'll have the conversation about the intersectionality between economic empowerment and mental health development as well.
That's
And then,
awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very helpful. And then, of course, back to school is coming up. We're going to do a big back to school bash and give away a lot of resources on the first Sunday of August. And then our church is also one of the leading sponsors for the Bibb County School District's back to school giveaway. We've done that for the past 4 years.
Yes.
And so
Awesome.
we want to be in those spaces. We want to have our own initiatives, but we also want to collaborate and be in the mix as well with other organizations. And so we want to support our community and support our superintendent and support our school district locally as well, because we know overwhelmingly Macon is 62% African American, right?
Right.
So we want to support our people and all people with those resources as well. So we have a whole lot of things going on. We're renovating right now. So we're in a temporary worship space on our campus, which you all came to.
Right.
So we're making more room to be able to do more impactful ministry that will literally bring about existential transformation in the lives of people.
Well, thank you, man. Well, this has been an awesome show. You're doing amazing work.
Yes.
Bless y'all, man.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be with the greatest pastors in the country.
Man, I'm
And
humble.
we thankful for you. But make sure y'all tune in with us next week on Village Talks. But we thank you for being with us today with Pastor Paul Little. Thank you.
Doing a great job.
Thank you, brother.
You've been listening to Village Talks with Tia and LJ. Join them live every Wednesday from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. right here on the Glory 107.9 FM, 980 AM, WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC,